So now I'm sure you guys know that Mitt Romney is now running for a Senate seat in the Senate. He's running for senator in Utah to replace Orrin Hatch, who's retiring at the end of his term. Now, Mitt Romney is someone who probably, I would say, like a lot of kind of resistance, anti-Trumpers are fans of, or maybe not even necessarily fans of, but they say that he's better than Trump, or that they'd rather have him than Trump. So because he's been kind of put in this adversarial position against Donald Trump, he's now kind of put in this position where his conservative credentials are essentially being questioned. Now, here's an interesting story. So this is what this article says from The Hill. It says, Mitt Romney said Monday he believes he's more conservative than President Trump on immigration, explaining that he doesn't believe deferred action for childhood arrivals DACA recipients should be able to obtain legal residence. So that's pretty strong. And I've explained this many of times, because immigration reform is an issue that comes up every fucking election. It's an issue that comes up every single election. And what I am constantly saying over and over again is that, hey, DACA, or, deferred action for childhood arrivals, that is the most minor, the most tiniest, microscopic, basic form of immigration reform that there is, because you're talking about people who came as kids. They don't even know the country because they don't know the country that you're sending them back to because they didn't grow up there. These people who are in this program are working, they're paying taxes now. So this is a great program to offer these people citizenship. It is immoral to separate families. It's immoral to send them back to a country that they have no clue about at all whatsoever. And this is something, they came through no fault of their own whatsoever. And this has been a very big issue as of late, because President Trump has been kind of talking about this a lot. And obviously you guys know that the government shut down for like a few days or maybe it was even one day. I can't remember how long it was exactly, but, and then the Democrats caved, of course. So here's the context of this story. It says Romney, the former Republican president nominee who is running for U.S. Senate in Utah, was asked about his conservative credentials during a question and answer session in Provo. The Daily Herald reported, quote, "For instance, I'm a deficit hawk," Romney said. "That makes me more of a conservative than a lot of Republicans and a lot of Democrats. I'm also more of a hawk on immigration than even the president. My view was these DACA kids shouldn't be allowed to stay in the country legally." So you can already tell from the language that he's being a condescending asshole, where he says these DACA kids. That's such a condescending way of saying it, in a very condescending phrase. And him claiming that he's a hawk on these issues, there's two kind of problems here. One, I don't know if he's being fully truthful here. Is he trying to get election points to kind of help him get up in the election, or is he being serious? Now, I can't really tell, but to be completely honest with you, my understanding is that his father was an immigrant to this country. So, there's always a lack of empathy on the Republican side. Always there's a lack of empathy on the Republican side. But, Republicans used to fight over, being the least immoral or unethical, you could maybe even call it, because you're basically separating families and sending people. There was a story of just someone, it was a while ago, but I can't remember exactly when it was, but I believe it was like a husband and a father was deported back to, I believe it was Mexico, even though he came here when he was like 9. So he's going back to a country that he doesn't know shit about. He's lived here for so long, he has a wife and his kids, and now he's being separated from them. I thought the Republicans were pro-family. I thought the Republicans were, the party of Jesus, the party of Christianity. So Mitt Romney is just coming back to show us that he's a complete asshole. And a lot of the people who are questioning whether or not Mitt Romney would have been better, or the people who supported Mitt Romney over Trump, a lot of people are now going to be surprised, because for me, when I read this, I honestly was kind of surprised. And it really made me realize how much of an asshole and a dick Mitt Romney is. Because, like I've said on so many occasions, on basically every story that I've covered about DACA, DACA is the most minor form of immigration reform you can have. If you don't agree with DACA, you're not going anywhere, because the conversation is going to stay, no, we're not doing any reforms whatsoever, because this is so minor. These people came here as children. They came here without they didn't control any of their decisions. Their parents brought them. And now they don't know anything about the country that you're going to send them back to. And most of these people on DACA are very productive people. So I don't understand how you could do that. I know that David Dobrik, I believe, was a dreamer as well. He's a really big YouTuber. I'm not sure what ended up happening to him there. But this just makes Mitt Romney, look like a complete asshole, which is what he is. But before I end here really quickly, I wanted to say there will be another video going up on the channel about this, but there's a big update that I have on Patreon. On Patreon, patreon.com/theprogressivevoice, I will now be posting 5 videos per week that are exclusive to patrons. So you can go to patreon.com/theprogressivevoice if you want to see those videos. And there will also be other perks like access to an exclusive Discord, and so you can choose what stories I cover if you donate a certain amount. So there is a huge update over on Patreon. So go check that out, patreon.com/theprogressivevoice. And again, Mitt Romney.